Hello and welcome everyone to round 3 OVRC GT3 Season 6. I am joined once again by Owen.
Hello everyone.
And you join us at the end of free practice. So a few more cars are finishing their laps into qualifying. We are at Monza. Very sunny and warm at Monza for this round. Track currently 30 degrees, so it's a bit warm. But before we head into qualifying and talk a bit more about the track, should we quickly round over the current championship standings?
Yeah, so leading the championship right now is Otto Olaina with 42 points, followed by Mike Stoffmel in second with 40 points, and then it's John Dalton in third with 34 points. Robert Nygaard is in fourth with 29 points, and Sebastian Bernier is in fifth with 27 points. Leading these team standings is WND Motorsports with 56 points. Panda Racing GSR is second with 44 points. Panda Racing AMG is third with 42 points. Fourth is Virtual Drives by TX3 with 40 points. And fifth is Uber Beamer with 35 points.
Green light, give it all you can.
As we move on to qualifying.
Yep, qualifying is just underway as John Dalton looks to be the first car out, obviously having that first grid spot. And this does seem to be a BMW track. Judging by practice, the BMWs do seem all very quick. So, it'll be interesting to see how all the cars start to handle. So the fuel will be taken out for qualifying, fresh tyres. It shall be interesting, I'd say. Obviously, Monza, the slipstream being quite important. So maybe being head of the pack, not the best idea. We will see, though. Qualifying being 15 minutes long. Let's see, head around. So Monza circuit, famous in F1, temple of speed, all that malarkey. 5.793 kilometers long. And yeah, one of the fastest tracks in terms of actual speed that you'll find at least basically anywhere in the world outside of an oval. Does have an oval. It's not used much anymore outside of the rallying. The rally does use it, but that's about it. I'm head into the Escara chicane right now. We're going to have 14 cars in the session, as we have a somewhat late appearance from Thomas Janssen.
Yep, nice to see him joining in again.
As we head through the final corner now, as John prepares to have exit the parabolic and start his first timed lap.
Let's go on board with him.
Obviously flat out down the start-finish straight as we head towards the infamous turn 1. On the brakes now, just before the 100 board, will he overshoot? Ooh, a bit deep into the corner there. Trying a good exit now. Exit is very important around here. And you roll out a bit to the left side, then cut down the middle through. It's a long right-hander. Used to be a bridge here. You brake as the fence breaks up. Don't go too far with the anti-cuts. Let's head towards the first Lesmo. Quick run towards it. Tap the brakes, get the nose in. Bit of counter steering there by John. Quick run to the second Lesmo. And it's all flat out to the next part of the track. Small little kink here. Doesn't actually matter at all in these cars. You've got so much grip. And then you head into the Escara chicane. On the brakes for the access road. Get the car over the curb a bit. Bit of a lift there. Keep the car from understeering, roll out wide on the exit curb. And you've got effectively one more corner to go. The parabolica. On the brakes. Get the nose in, aim for the inside, but don't hit the inside. You actually lose a bit of time if you do so. Quite wide on exit. You want to straight line it down the start-finish straight as much as possible. And that's the first time of 1:49.8, which is immediately beaten by Cabal, and then Mawson, and then Nygaard, then Whitford, who is right at the toe of Stoffmill. A bunch of times the Lion now gets as fast as a 1:48.0272. And that's what the first batch of times in very quick succession.
Yep, looks like Thomas Jansen will be next across the line.
On his own.
He seems to be not setting a lap right now.
I believe Timothy Glenning will be the next car to set a time. Again, another car on their own. So a big pack of them from gone all the way back. He's going across the line and gets a 1:48.9. James Butler next gets a 1:50.6. Sam Williams exit the pit lane now, so he was the only car which was not on track till now. Track has increased in temperature to 31 degrees, so it might be a bit cooler for the race, but it's definitely warm.
John Dalton is about to set his second lap. He's currently half a second up. We're also seeing improvements for Whitford, Nygaard, Stoffmill and Mawson.
The pace will improve obviously as the tyres get up to temperature properly. If your tyres are underinflated, you'll create more friction, which creates more drag, which means you have a lower top end. As Dalton across the line improves, but does not improve his position in standings. But yeah, so the tyre obviously, when it's over deflated, it'll create more drag. So you don't, if you overinflate it, obviously you lose traction in the corners. So it's a bit of a balancing act. Obviously, once the tyres are in that window, they're pretty good. As Thomas Jansen sets his first time of 1:49.3. Timothy Glenning enters the pit lane, so obviously they can border their current lap.
Stoffmill is improving right now, 2 tenths up. Kerbal is also 2 tenths up.
Currently, Falkenstein and Sam Williams have yet to set a time on the board. A few drivers are very much sticking with their, not really a buddy. I don't think Stoffmill is really deliberately hope on Whitford, but currently is. Whitford sort of hanging behind him.
Kerbal moves up to 6th position. Stoffmill takes 2nd.
Yeah. Line across the line improves to 1:47.8.
Bernier moves up to 7th. As Rebecca Pauline takes 7th, and then Falkenstein takes 7th. That's a big battle for 7th right now. Thomas Jansen is currently a second faster.
That's going to shoot him up to around P4, from the looks of things. As he does, slot into P4. James Butler currently 10th up as he heads towards the Parabolica in the rare Nissan GTR appearance. That's a car you see often, to say the least.
stays P13. Dalton's putting another lap in, 4 tenths up at the moment. He's currently all the way down in P12, which is not where we usually expect to see him.
Yeah, 1.2 seconds off the ultimate pace right now.
His teammate Mark Whitford is also 2 tenths up right now.
Rebecca Pauling is also at 4 tenths up, so a few more improvements coming along. Comes on across the line and goes into P8.
Mawson moves up to 4th. Whitford moves up to 2nd.
Ally does not improve.
Pauline will move up to 4th.
Good time there by the Aston. A few people are in the pit lane.
Max Stoffel just getting out of the pits now.
Yep, so
looks
next
like
load of them all exiting
Dalton
right
behind
now.
him as well.
A few people now on out laps.
Sebastian Brunner is currently 2 tenths up. He is down in P11. So let's see if he can make an improvement. As he's lost his improvement.
I lost it from the exit of level 2. Williams on a 2 tenth improvement right now as they head through the second of the chicanes. Sebastian improves his time. So far everyone else is either on an outlap or currently isn't improving.
And Nygaard is a tenth up right now. As he is coming up to the Parabolica. Lost some of his improvement now. Doesn't seem like this will be it. And he stays in P7. Sam Williams about to cross the line. Improves their time but not their position.
Yeah, currently sitting dead last in session.
Timothy Gladning is a couple tenths up.
Just over 2 minutes to go now, so not exactly a lot of time.
Yeah, not seeing any improvements from the top drivers right now. Olila is still in the pit lane, so they won't be setting another lap.
Nygaard, if he keeps his pace up, has a chance to get into the upper part of the grid, but he does lose a bit on through the second Lesmo.
Still 2 tenths up. Thomas Jensen is also a tenth up right now, but that's all the improvements we're seeing.
The Parabolica. Goes Nygaard.
First time. Not his position. Jensen heading into the Parabolica now.
Loses
the tense up on the entry. So let's see what happens. He goes up to P4. So that small improvement was enough to gain him a couple of positions. Mike Stoffmel struggling out there, same with Mark Whitford. The rest are all early on in their laps right now. No improvement for Stoffmel so far.
And the checkered flag will be now waiting, so someone else will be starting a new lap now. Stoffmel enters the pit lane.
Robert Nygaard is 3 tenths up. Let's see if they can make an improvement this time. Mark Whitford goes back into the pits. Sam Williams is a couple tenths up, but that's him and Nygaard are the only ones improving out there right now. People seem to have gotten their best laps in early on.
Nygaard lost a bit there on entry to the Parabolica, but gains it through the exit. Where will he end up? It's up to P2.
Big improvement for him. Jensen's still out there, but he's 2 tenths down.
Sam Williams improves right at the end there. Jensen will cross the line and will not improve.
Yep, and then it's just Falkenstein still out, but not improving either. And that is the end of qualifying.
So, Elida will take pole position, Nygaard alongside him. Whitford, Stoffmel, Janssen, Pooling, Mawson, Cabal, Dalton and Falkenstein are your top 10 in qualifying. A bit of a different result from practice, where it was the BMW show outside of Stoffmel. Elida, though, takes pole. We'll wait for the end of qualifying now and move on into the race session. Track conditions might change a bit, but I don't see much of a change. It's going to be pretty warm still. We still have all 14 cars, so good to see. So the starting grid is formed. And now it's the last chance, obviously, for drivers to set up any last adjustments to set up, put fuel in, put some fresh tyres on, do all that jazz. All the stuff you need to do before spend an hour racing. Obviously, there is a mandatory pit stop for tyres. It's important to make sure, again, you select the correct tyres in your pit stop. And whatever else you want to do. Obviously, the race is going to be basically flat out for a chunk of it, so fuel will be interesting. Obviously, some cars use more fuel than others. Some cars may have to take an actual proper fuel stop, not just tyres, but we'll see, obviously. But you can see how the race pace differs from qualifying pace as well. But the Aston is known to struggle a bit on the traction out of corners, so it may be a bit of a harder car to race than the others. So the current starting grid formation is Elida Nygaard for row 1, Whitford Stockmore row 2, Jansen Pauline row 3, Mawson Cabal row 4, Dalton Folkestone row 5, Brunier Gillingham row 6, and Williams Butler row 8. 9. I forgot what row on. Just over a minute until the green flag will drop and people will be able to start their formation lap. Give you 5 seconds. The 30-second warning drops. So engines start. Everyone will be off the jacks. We're about to get underway for round 3. So Lila pulls away now, starting spot. Obviously single file for the first part of the lap. So any predictions you want to make, Erwin, before we get underway? You're going to play it safe and wait and see what happens?
Well, I mean, Olila was clearly the fastest in qualifying, which is usually a safe bet for the race. But we'll see. The pack behind him is very close, so hopefully we'll have some tight racing either way. And let's see if anyone can still make things difficult for Olila.
Monza's known quite a bit for having a bit more racing than other circuits, for example, is because obviously long straights, big braking zones, and lots of time to slipstream. But obviously the car BOP will affect that quite a bit, because some cars are just monsters in a straight line, while others are, let's say, not very good in a straight line. So it'll be interesting to see, obviously, if the cars with better straight line speed can keep up with the cars, well, the other way around, sorry, the cars with lower top speed keep up with the ones with the higher top speed, at least in the race. Obviously, to qualify well is one thing, and keep those laps up during the whole race is another. Doc will be looking to make amends after the last race at Donington. It was a bit of disappointment for him. Obviously, this didn't have the pace to really compete there. As obviously Lawrence, who's not here this week, won that race fairly easily. He was quicker than everyone else, but obviously he's not here, so different chance for a different winner. So we'll head into a sky now. Formation, not a lot of weaving going on. The track is still 28 degrees, so it's still very, very, very warm. I guess people don't really see the need to warm their tyres up right now. And I just see some people try to weave. Get some tyre temp in, and some brakes are going to be the most important one, I feel like, for lap 1 around here. Obviously, turn 1, heavy braking zone, so you're going to want to have brakes in the optimal range, otherwise you're going to miss and probably hit someone, which is probably the reason why it gets such a reputation. We'll find out as the car starts to line up alongside each other now on the back straight. They all start to head onto the speed limit they have been assigned to. So 14 cars, 1 hour race, 1 required pit stop for tyres. Could be an interesting one. Robert Nygaard starting on the second P2 on the outside, on the inside line, starting pole. As we now head towards the start line. I can't quite remember if it starts early or starts late. I think it starts late. So we're about to find out.
Green light. Go,
As we are going, so they start the early line and poorish start for Nygaard there. He loses a bit of pace as Whitford gets ahead of him. Meanwhile, it's 3 wide behind with the Aston of Pauline and Jansen, and I believe that's Mawson. There's always a bit of contact on Mawson. Gets a bit of a nudge from behind by one of the BMWs. That's Cabal there, who loses a lot of position because of it. Going all over the curbs then. Cabal drops down E12. As Elila's lost a few positions now, so Elila's dropped down to P3. I completely missed that. Looking at what's going behind, as both Whitford and Nygaard got ahead. Stoffnell is slotting right behind Elila, so the AMG may be lacking a bit of top speed. So Nygaard had a bit of a poor start, just didn't have the power going. There's a bit of wiggle there by Stoffnell. But so far, everyone has made it this far through the first lap. Yeah, through the skies, Thanian goes a bit deep, goes over the anti-cuts and nearly gets in the way of one of the chrome BMWs. That's Falkenstein, he now gets passed by Cabal. They look to have a move possibly and going in not quite, a bit far away. As our games crash, so you're going to have to continue on from here right now.
They're going for the Parabolica now. Still very close. The Aston having a bit of a go there. Sam Williams side by side with James Butler. It doesn't look like he's quite going to be able to do it though, as they are about to go 3 wide between Gladdening, Kerbal and Falkenstein heading into turn 1. One of the BMWs. Ooh, there's the cut, the chicane. Gladdening stays ahead. Now the BMWs are side by side, heading into the chicane. One going a little bit off track. And, ooh, looks like a bit of a touch with Butler there. That's cost Butler some momentum and caused him to drop behind Sam Williams. Well, Mark Stoffnell's got Ryan Mawson right behind him. Mark Whitford making a bit of a getaway, 1.3 seconds ahead of Robert Nygaard.
Ashton's just made a move on Thomas Janssen right now, heading into the skies. Janssen's dropped down the order a bit after that start.
Looks like Mawson's getting pretty close to having a go at Stoffmill.
Well, Whitford has somewhat driven up the road and made quite a bit of a gap now, so there's Mawson. Oh, look at the speed difference there. Closes right at the back of the Ferrari, loses a bit on going along beside each other. Seems to have evened out a tiny bit. Ferrari actually starting to pull away at the end of the straight, so Ferrari might have a bit better top end, but the slipstream has helped Mawson a lot there. As Sebastian and Thomas are going alongside each other into the first chicane just now, and Sebastian has stayed out in front. Elias set the fastest lap last time by.
There's getting pretty close to Nygaard. As Ryan Wilson had a little look down the inside of Stuff Mill. So here's Nygaard and Olila heading up to Ascari. Olila is getting really close behind, goes for the inside. Backside of it.
Nygaard went a bit deep in there. He's going to lose a bit of pace down the exit. It was Olila to possibly pull out. Bring it alongside. Nygaard getting a bit of a squeeze there, but will hold the straight line now, heading towards the Parabolica. Now Lila slots in ahead. Lila up to second.
Mawson goes down the inside of Stuff Mill into Parabolica. Takes the position.
Let's see if Stuff Mill can fight back at all. Just alongside now, the BMW heading to the turn 1 chicane. Mawson will fight it on the brakes though, and goes very deep there. Forces Stuff Mill off to the escape road. Now is under threat by Pauline now behind. Just trying to go around the long way around. Oh, a bit of contact there.
Oh, this is very sketchy.
Rebecca's trying to find her way through. Gets past Mawson. I don't think Mawson will be particularly happy about that. Obviously a bit of contact. Managed to keep the car in control as looks down Lesmo 1. It's a tight gap there. You don't have to squeeze your way through. Still alongside each other now into second Lesmo, and a bit of contact on the exit. Rebecca gets forced out wide into the gravel trap. Bit of argy-bargy going on back there.
She's gonna have to deal with John Dalton. And Dalton gets ahead.
As always a stopped car. Oh, Whitford's gone off at the exit of Ascari.
Oh no. Let's catch a replay of that. He heads into Ascari. Oh, takes a big jump over the curb. Oh, that's a painful one. As he heads into the pit lane.
Might have bashed the wall there or getting the stop done early. As Sebastian just got past John Dalton there. John Paul gets past Sebastian. Sebastian takes a deep line and loses 2 positions now. So a few people misjudging their braking
Might lose
points.
another one. The Audi got very close there, but not quite enough.
Common theme: people misjudging their braking points. I think people may have a brake temperature set correctly or something, because yeah, it's not.
Mark Whitford heads back out of the pit lane. He has done his mandatory tire change, and so has to do 50 minutes on those tires.
pulls out ahead of everyone else at least.
Look from the back of Jensen's car. It's got Bernier right behind. And Timothy Gladning is pretty close as well. As Pauline gets a 5-second penalty. I think that was from previous.
Yeah, it's previous rounds. I needed to set that earlier, so that's my bad. So I should have set that earlier. Obviously, they had a collision with John Dalton. Obviously, this round is... Don't think that was really her fault when she got shoved into the gravel there. Now it's more Mawson, but, you know, up to their report.
Yeah, we don't usually see 5-second penalties show up mid-race, so I got a bit confused there, but then I've remembered.
Yep, that's just me forgetting to set it at the start. So, 48 minutes left to go. Quite a while, 10 minutes gone past. As people somewhat spread out a bit after there's all knocks going on.
Yeah,
Jansen closing up to...
Oh,
that's very late on the brakes. Gets alongside the McLaren. Oh, a bit of contact there. Sebastian, who gets knocked out. Now it's Glenning to get slipped through, so...
bit too ambitious from Bernier there. Which has cost both of them a lot of time, and it's cost Bernier position.
That McLaren, though, is very strong on the brakes. It was strong at Donington in Castro's hands, so... As Elias dropped back to P... Oh, no, sorry. I got mixed up. Whitford's up ahead, but he's a lap down. Or he's still on the same lap, but not lapped yet. That's what confused me. Learn to read the timing tower. So, Elias still leading, and it's extended the gap to 3.2 seconds to Nygaard. So, after losing a bit at the start, he's gained quite a bit in the clean air.
So getting tight between the two BMWs of Kerbel and Falkenstein as well. Not seeing much action at the top of the field, unfortunately. Yes, Bernier has another go around the outside of Gladning. And now Gladning is in trouble from Falkenstein.
Oh, Gladning's off the road.
Yeah, I got a bit of a bump from Falkenstein there. Or I think it was him trying to return back to the track, as he was he did end up a bit off road. As I don't think Falkenstein gave him much space there.
bit of a, I don't know, a little flinch on the Falkenstein side there, the exit or what, but not the first time it's happened where someone sort of just wound out a bit wide and then pushed someone else off. It all happens. There seems to be a BMW drivers doing it.
Damn BMW drivers. Never using their indicators. Running into people. As Mark Whitford is back into the pit lane.
Why is that?
I can only assume he might be calling it quits.
People sort of spreading out a tiny bit. Obviously, people like Delaney will be trying to get back up the field if possible. So Whitford's in the pit for quite a while right now, so not sure what's he doing in the pit. Go to the John Dalton's and see what's going on there. He's obviously streaming on Twitch. A few people are streaming on Twitch of the race, actually.
Dunning trying to close up to Butler as he has some positions to make up after that little incident with Falkenstein. He's trying to go down the inside, possibly into the Parabolica.
Tots down the inside and moved on. Johnson still chasing Dalton right now. The gap to the leader is now open to 4.6 seconds, so extending all the time. The line has the quickest lap right now. And Whitford is still in the pit lane.
So you're riding on board with Tom Jensen. Still chasing down John Dalton into Parabolica. A bit of a twitch there. But he should be able to make a move into turn 1.
Yeah, he's closer this time. Going around the long way. Alongside each other into the chicane. On the inside, will they get the car around? They stay alongside and exit, but the Porsche getting a slightly better run allows them to stay ahead as Brunier sort of closed the gap once again. Maybe this is helping Rebecca quite a bit right now because obviously she has a penalty if Dalton is out of the 5-second range, and while she will struggle to catch the guys ahead, it means you're a bit of safety net. Jansen a bit slow for the Lesmos, so it's allowed Sebastian to close right back up again. So just under 20 minutes have passed in the race, or just over 20 minutes have passed.
Yep. Also, Alila is leading by 5.7 seconds over Robert Nygaard right now. Mark Stoffmill is in second. Still somewhat fighting with Ryan Mawson, although he's found himself a bit of a gap right now. Who is in P4. And we've got Rebecca Pauline rounding out the top 5 right now. But she does have a 5-second penalty to serve in her pit stop.
Yeah. So, I think I know what Whitford's doing by sitting in the pit lane. He is, essentially, he's gonna... I'm assuming he believed he couldn't catch anyone after his pit stop. So
he's just going to sit there and take the points by finishing at the end.
Yeah, because if you finish, you get the full point load for finishing P14. Whereas if you quit, you just don't get anything. So, I'm not completely agreeing with that idea. I mean, it sort of goes against the spirit of the rule. The way we do that is obviously encourage people to stay around and not just leave. But at the same time, when you're just going to do that because you don't feel like you can I don't know, it's just he had to pit early, he lost some time, he could have worked his way back up. He also has the pace, he's the second quickest car on the track.
Yeah, I think he would have had the pace to maybe still gain a few positions and not finish last.
And it's a bit of a shame he made that mistake, but you know, you can't, if you want to win races, you can't make mistakes like that. And so far, people who have won all these races have been people who had a faultless race. I mean, you know, Doffmill, race 1, pretty much faultless. Race 2 for Donington for Lawrence was faultless from start to finish. And for Alila so far, looking much the same, even if with a bit of a poor start.
Yeah,
he's made the least errors and he's the quickest car. So
yeah, that sausage curb at the exit of Skari is absolutely brutal. Unfortunately for Whitford.
And it's the nature of the Porsche. You know, the engine's hanging on the back. Car will, you know, want to go over. So the Porsche is not an easy car to drive, from what my understanding. I've driven it a tiny bit. It's a fun car to drive, but a difficult car to drive. As compared to, you know, the likes of the BMW, which just seems to be the stable car right now. Even if I don't like how it looks or it sounds. Unfortunately, those don't really matter when it comes to car dynamics, because those don't affect it. There's still a pack of Dalton, Jansen and Brunier sort of somewhat sticking together still. No one's really close enough to make a move, but definitely all within the opportunity where someone makes a small little error and they'll all be back up and closed up again. Sebastian has closed the gap quite a bit and might have a go heading down to turn 1. Obviously, again, very strong on the brakes at McLaren. Let's see if he does anything. Does he pull out late? Or will he stay behind? He does pull out. He goes for the dive. Jansen takes a bit of a deep line and will retain the position. Can he get the exit though? He does so and retains the position. As will be approaching the pit stop window in the next 5 or so minutes.
Brittany has another go.
Oh, second chicane. He's gonna can't really go the long way around here. Gotta be quite committed to make a move in some of these places. I'll be quite brave. I'll sort of assert your ground, saying I'm gonna put my car here. Not really. Half-hearted moves are not a good combination. It. So Dalton's closed the gap down to Pauline again to 4.6. So once again, Pauline's got a risk of ending up behind Dalton, but currently ahead of Janssen, who's dropped down 1.5 seconds to Dalton. So a little bit of fighting with Sebastian. Has lost him a bit of time. James Butler, unfortunately, was a bit of a lonely race right at the back then as Nissan. As all the people he somewhat was racing with are somewhat...
Gladming is into the pits. So there's our first regularly scheduled pit stopping.
Yep.
Pit stopping? Is that a word?
Stopping. I don't think it is, but we'll let it roll. The pits there in the lone R8. We don't do a manufacturers championship, otherwise I feel like BMW will be leading it with the amount of cars they have. So Dalton drops to under 5 seconds again, or over 5 seconds, sorry, for Rebecca. Lost a bit of time there, as Sebastian is still right up behind Thomas Janssen. One thing with McLaren is you can quite see the pedal inputs of who is driving from one of the onboards because of how open the cockpit is. I'm trying to understand if it's just a bug in the telemetry, or was Sebastian into the Scari jabbing the brake pedal, like repeatedly jabbing it? That's the nice thing about this, is that sort of telemetry is shared across everyone, so you can see that sort of thing. I really felt like it. So Glennon has done his stop as Cabal is pit lane now. That's the second pit stop of the race, which is scheduled. Jill Dalton had another slowish lap that time, as the gap for him and Janssen closes and the gap between him and Rebecca opens.
Benjamin Cabal is back out on track.
Pulls out ahead of Groningen, so as Alida enters the pit lane now, so that's our leader. And he's got quite a big gap, so I don't imagine anyone.
Well, Max Stoffmel's gotten pretty close to Robert Nygaard as they are heading towards turn 1. And Stoffmel takes P2.
He takes. That's interesting how quick that sort of changed over. Maybe struggling a bit with the tires again. I mean, I don't see it happening, but you never know.
Brunier, Falkenstein, and Williams are all into the pits.
And it's got very busy now.
Stoffel taking the lead for now, while Alila is in the pits.
Butler's into the pit lane as well. So halfway mark. 30 minutes to go. 30 minutes is
Alila
gone.
is heading back out. So he will rejoin in P7.
Imagine Sarsi Smoke will possibly enter the pit lanes very shortly.
As Brunier, Falkenstein and Williams have left the pit lane.
The Mawson enters the pit lane now. Doffmull and Nygaard stay out. As Butler gets out of the way, as Nygaard misses his braking point and misses the chicane. Managed to get the car back round. Loses a bunch of time in the process. As Jansen's in the pit lane now as well, so that makes Dalton, Rebecca, Robert, and Mike the cars yet to make their stop.
Mawson heads back out and rejoins in P6. Jensen is heading out as well.
The gap between Mawson and Elia doesn't look as big as it was. Obviously still quite a big significant gap, but Elia just always seem to struggle a tiny bit in these pit stops.
As Jensen gets passed by Brunier.
Brunier obviously making his a pit stop, obviously managed to make it work and jump Jansen. Good work by him as the last remaining cars to pit have all entered now. Dalton also enters the pit lane. That means everyone who needs to pit is in the pit lane or has done their pit. We'll see where everyone ends up as Eli heads through Ascari.
Johnson is chasing down Brunier.
Elias going through the final corner now as Stockmore gets underway, so it's gonna be, I think Elias still gonna be ahead, but it's gonna be closer than it was. Elias pulls that, gets wrong now and heads into under brakes now as Stockmore gets up to speed. Where's that leave Mawson? Mawson's
right behind Stoffmill.
But ahead of Nygaard. So Nygaard lost a lot of time in that on that lap before his pit entry as Rebecca pulls out just ahead of Dalton. Sebastian and Jensen just behind them is having alongside each other into the first chicane. That's all pit stops completed. Question is now, Stoffel and Cleaner, can he catch a liner, or will he have to more worry about Mawson behind?
Jensen down the inside of Brunier into Ascari. So, big slide for Brunier.
Bit too deep. He's facing the wrong way right now on the outside. A bit of clear road now as he's
out.
Retired. Well, Norson and Stoffmill go alongside each other.
Let's have a little replay of that. What exactly happened there? Looks like he probably got touched on the rear by Jansen, and he spun around into the barrier.
Oh, it's a small touch from just watching the replay back on. Such a small little bit of contact that spins the car around.
Jansen's having to deal with Dalton.
Jansen lost. Well, Dalton must have made a little error because Dalton's dropped back. I was a bit confused then. Like, has he catched up? No, because Falkenstein had Jansen and Dalton's behind Jansen. So something must have happened over there, and I have no idea what.
Yeah, I think it's too late to have a look back at the replay now. So unfortunately we don't really know what happened to Dalton.
You know, the end result is that he's down in P8 right now behind Jansen. Jansen's now behind Falkenstein, so a bit of shuffling of the order once again.
Stoffmill and Mawson are heading up to the first chicane.
Stoffmill with the defensive inside line. Dalton's lost a bit of ground to Jansen now, so after the race, it'll be interesting to see what happened to him because it could be an okay result for him. Has turned out to not be that. The gap to the lead is 10.9 seconds. Stoffmel's not really managed to break away from Mawson. Not really being able to close the gap much. Saying that, Stoffmel's on a very quick lap right now. Yeah, Lila seems to be the quickest thing on track right now. As Dalton just shoots straight on at the first chicane. Don't lose too much time for it, but doesn't gain anything out of it, so he'll be okay. Al's closing it now on Dalton's way. Dalton's race not going the way it's wanted to, as Jansen has closed up to Hulkenstein over the last few corners, same thing. Austin's still hanging on to Stoffmore right now. And none of those two really means be able to extend their gap with each other. Still extends his lead. Morton takes a bit of a deep line for the Balabarka. Might help him a bit on the exit, but probably not closing nearly enough down to make significant progress. Jansen's closed up right behind Falkenstein now, so could there be a move coming up as well? Loses a bit on the exit actually for Balabarka, so. Just over 15 minutes left to go. Current orders are Lila, Stockmore, Mawson, Nygaard, Pauline, Falkenstein, Jansen, Dalton, Cavell and Glenning in the top 10. 12-second gap to lead some Stuffman, who is still somewhat fending off Mawson for the last few laps, ever since the pit stops, essentially. I don't know how much is actually affecting his pace or not.
Jensen and Falkenstein are side by side into Parabolica. So they head up to the first chicane. Falkenstein's going to have to defend the inside. Jensen seems to back out of it.
Poor exit for Jensen as well, so Falkenstein managed to stay ahead. Well defended by him. Brendan's closed up to Cabal as well the last two, so he had a instant failure onward on the silver BMW, so has been working his way back up to close the gap.
Larsen and Stoffmill still close, as Jensen and Falkenstein are side by side again through Parabolica. Falkenstein defending in the inside again. This time Jensen gets ahead.
And we'll slot him just ahead of Falkenstein, but Falkenstein might look to make the move around the outside.
See what he can do into the second chicane.
Jensen goes defensive. Falkenstein goes a bit deep and has to bail out. Well, Dalton to close up. Dalton closes up but doesn't make a move.
Dalton very close behind now.
Goes to the outside into Ascari. Will hold the inside and goes quite aggressively over the curves, but keeps going. But loses out on the exit. Will Dalton be able to make something happen now? Quite. He's looking for the inside, but Falkenstein is parking his car right there, forcing Dalton to go the long way if he wants to make a move. Which Dalton does go the long way and keeps around the outside of the Parabolica. And that's all about the exit coming out of it. Who carried more speed? Looks fairly equal right now. Staying side by side. He's going to be braver on the brakes. There's a bit of contact there, but no issues come from it as they go around through there and stay side by side, going out of it. But now heading towards the second chicane once more. This is where Falkenstein lost out last time versus Janssen. Obviously, he'll be on the outside once again. Does this time keep it on the track and stays there, but Dalton gets a good exit. Just be ahead into Lesmo and takes the position. He moves up to P7. As Mawson and Stoffmill having a little go at each other.
Stoffmill pulls ahead on the straight.
Ferrari's got pace in the straight line, it seems. Its initial punch is lacking, but once it gets going, it's quick. There's number 2 chrome BMWs are together now. Cabal and Falkenstein. After that little fight with Dalton, forced Falkenstein to lose some time.
Falkenstein trying to make the move on Dalton. Doesn't make it.
Everything's closed up as well to these lots, so they're looking to make something happen. Close the gap up to Stockmore through the first chicane. As John, it's a bit sideways then. At least it looked like it, but not exactly managed to get a breakaway because you probably would like from Falkenstein and Cabal. Those two towing it over at Chong quite nicely in the big rear wing of that Porsche. Dalton goes defensive now. Falkenstein tries to go a long way around into the first chicane. As Dalton goes deep and has to go over the anti-cuts, losing him the position to Falkenstein. So he's got to do it all over again now. Now there's Cabal behind him. Oh, there's a BMW sandwich right now. What would you like in your BMW sandwich? Probably not a Porsche.
No.
You probably won't want to be in the sandwich either. Will Dalton tried to make an attack now into a Scar. He gets very wide on the exit of Lesmo, which will dash that hope fairly quickly. Now Cabal is possibly the biggest threat to him now. Cabal looks to make a move into it and will hop over those curbs like they're nothing. He's very good at doing that. Just munches the curbs up. Bit wide an exit though, but we'll get ahead of Dalton now. So Dalton gone from P7 to P9 in the last few laps. Far from ideal.
Not a great end to the race for Dalton. Or at least this late stage, maybe you can still make something up in the last 5 minutes.
it was P6 or something, P5, P6 at some point, and then just dropped backwards. I just want to know what error he made where he dropped behind Jansen initially, because that was when he really started to struggle a bit. I look gliding in behind him in the Audi, so gets a good exit, Jolson, though, out the first game, so let's see if we can do anything now. It's around the out, long way round of Val. But can't really outbrake. Byrne has to slot in behind. Mawson at the other end of the field. Mawson trying to close up once again to Stoffmill and go around the long way around the parabolica. Forcing Stoffmill to have a compromised line might help him on the exit here. Let's see what happens. Pulls out to the outside. There's just over 4 minutes left, so only a couple more laps. Stoffmill ahead on entry and will probably stay ahead on exit. The BMW seems to run out of puff at the end of the straight. It's like, it just needs a bit short of the straight, it'll be fine, but got a good initial punch, but can't keep it going.
Oh, Dalton making a bit of a mistake, breaking into the first chicane.
Done that twice now, I've seen it. Like,
It's braking too late. He had to get off the track in order to avoid running into Corbel. Now he's under threat from Glentoning.
He's going to be around the inside into the corner. And we'll take the position off him. Dalton drops down to P10. Let's get a good exit. No. Could he try and make a move into Lesmo? Not quite. Backs out of it. Thinks be wiser.
Frustrating late stage of the race for him. Mawson and Stoffmill side by side into Parabolica.
2 more laps, I imagine, given where Alida is kind of sitting on the road, so this time be Mawson's attempt. Pulls out. Once again, about calming the head going into it. Gets good enough exit just to stay ahead. The same thing over and over and over again. Mawson needs to try something else, I feel like, to really get a move done. Can't just rely on that speed. Because Stoffmill's always going to be ahead of him there, so he's got to try something. And he's only got possibly 1 more lap after this to do it. It's a bit too close there in the Lesmo, so it has to back out again, and that's sort of the issue when you're that close to someone. You get a bit too close, you have to back it and stamp on the brakes harder to avoid hitting them, and then you lose your speed. So just gotta be careful. Just gotta think about it. Where's a good time, wait, more momentum than the Ferrari to get ahead of it. Definitely quicker for the corners, the BMW. It looks like, from at least keeping the momentum up. Saying that, gets a poor exit from Ascari and allows the Ferrari to pull out a bit.
Yes, Alila will be starting the final lap now.
So he's got 1 more shot going in turn 1. Meanwhile, put down the order, it's somewhat calmed down a bit with Dalton dropping away, Glenning and trying to close up to Cleval, but so far not really been close enough. We'll keep track of that, obviously, in the final lap as Duffmill's ahead going into turn 1. On the brakes, Mawson try. Can't do it, and he's going to be a bit close. He's going to have to stamp on the brakes. Doesn't barely. Sorry, words. Words difficult. He is closer now. Looks for the outside. Duffmill's put his car there, though, on the outside. Well, being very defensive at this point now. That's Mawson's running out of chances now. He's going to get a good exit here. He'll try and stuff it down the Lesmos. He's probably going to try it. He's alongside. Oh, but he just takes too much curb. Takes too much curb and loses some a bit of a pace. Loses momentum as Elia goes for a Ascari right now. That was Mawson's best chance the last few laps, and he just... So easy to do, though. But you just don't want to go on those inside curbs. They're evil. They don't look evil, but they will just take all your momentum out. As you get a good enough exit through Ascari. And Elia will be crossing the line very shortly. As Elia will
Briefly to Elia, who will cross the line, and we go right back to Mawson and Stoffmill into Parabolica.
And you get the run on exit now. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Gets a good exit there. It's going to be very close. Can he get it? He's ahead now. Going to be ahead. It's just going to be just about ahead. He will do it. Mawson takes P2.
What an ending. Robert Nygaard takes P4. As Pauline will cross the line next in P5. Looks like Whitford's not doing that final lap after all.
I think he did cross it. Did cross the line.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. I saw him on the track map. Brookstown coming at P7. Going in P9.
Dalton P10. Then Williams finishes P11. And then we just wait for James Butler to finish in P12. So that was it. That was round number 3 at Monza. As you said, Woodford does seem to have finished in P14. It's still doing Sebastian Brunier as P13 here.
But he's not
sure it's supposed to do that.
He's not crossed the line.
Yeah.
Oh, close end between Mawson and Stoffmill. Yeah, Elia takes victory. Mawson, Stoffmill, Nygaard, Pauline, Jensen, Falkenstein, Cabal, Glenningen, Dalton, Williams, Butler, and Whitford is P13, but technically Sebastian's our only actual retirement. And that has been, as you said, round 3. A few interesting battles there. Elia did manage to drive away once, obviously, Whitford had his error. Bit of unfortunate. He just doesn't seem to be able to really get away from them.
Yeah, it's the overtakes were a bit tricky here. It's just like it's always a matter of just barely not making it, just not quite being close enough. Which is a very tricky thing, because there's not much you can really do about it unless you have a lot of extra pace compared to the person in front of you.
Yeah, and on that note, I think we're going to call it there.
Yeah, so we hope you enjoyed the race. If you did, we would really appreciate it if you could click the like button and subscribe to the channel to catch our next race, which will be next week at the Nürburgring.
Well then, everyone, stay safe, be cool, and yeah, see you then.
Goodbye.